Hi everyone, welcome back. I want to start by thanking all of you who watched the original version of this video and shared your feedback. In this updated version, I've added the names of the artists and their artworks for each modern art movement. I hope this gives you a better understanding of how these movements shape the art world. Let me know in the comments which artist or movement inspires you the most. Let's begin with the first movement on our list and see how it paved the way for modern art. First up is Impressionism, a movement that completely transformed how artists saw and depicted the world around them. Emerging in France in the late 19th century, Impressionism focused on capturing fleeting moments, particularly the effects of light and color on everyday scenes. Instead of focusing on fine details, Impressionist artists used loose, visible brushstrokes to suggest the essence of a scene. They often painted outdoors, a practice known as en plein air. Interestingly, the term Impressionism wasn't chosen by the artists themselves. It actually started as an insult after an exhibition in Paris in 1874. The name comes from Claude Monet's painting, Impression Sunrise, which inspired a satirical review by critic Louis Leroy in the newspaper Le Charivari. Leroy mocked the painting, saying, "A preliminary drawing for a wallpaper pattern is more finished than the seascape." Impressionism faced significant opposition from France's established art community. Rejected by traditional institutions, a group of pioneering artists, including Monet, Renoir, Pissarro, and Degas, took matters into their own hands and organized independent exhibitions. Their bold defiance not only reshaped the art world, but also inspired similar movements in music and literature, paving the way for what we now call Impressionist music and Impressionist literature. Impressionism paved the way for new ideas in art, but not all artists were satisfied with its focus on light and fleeting moments. This leads us to Post-Impressionism, the next major movement. Post-Impressionism emerged in the late 1880s as a response to Impressionism. A group of young painters sought to develop their own unique styles, focusing on expressing emotions rather than simply capturing what they saw. They moved beyond portraying the world as it appeared, instead using simplified colors, bold forms, and imaginative compositions to convey personal and emotional themes. Their work was defined by a renewed focus on symbolism, structure, and even abstraction. One of the most iconic examples of this is Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night. With its swirling skies and vivid blues and yellows, the painting moves far beyond Impressionism's lighter, observational style. Van Gogh used the night sky to express intense emotions, creating a scene that feels both real and dreamlike. His thick, expressive brushstrokes and bold use of color didn't just depict the view, they revealed the raw emotional power of the paint itself. Unlike Impressionism, which emphasized spontaneity and light, Post-Impressionism aimed to bring more structure and deeper meaning to art. Paul Cézanne, for instance, is often called the father of modern art because of his innovative use of geometric shapes and simplified forms. His work laid the foundation for later movements like Cubism and abstract art. Post-Impressionism wasn't about one unified style. Instead, it was a collection of diverse approaches by artists who all sought to push the boundaries of Impressionism. This variety and individuality are what make Post-Impressionism such a fascinating and pivotal chapter in art history. Building on the spirit of experimentation, the next major movement to emerge was Fauvism. Known for its wild use of color and bold, expressive brushwork, Fauvism was a short-lived but highly influential art movement that began around 1905 and lasted until about 1910. The name Fauvism, which translates to wild beasts in French, was originally a term of mockery used by critics to describe the vibrant and untamed nature of the artist's work. Fauvist art is defined by its bold colors, textured brushwork, and non-naturalistic depictions. Instead of using color realistically, Fauvist artists used it to evoke emotion and energy. For them, color wasn't just a tool to depict the world, it was a way to transform it. Figures might appear in bright greens, landscapes in intense reds, or skies in deep purples, whatever best conveyed the artist's feelings. This daring use of color is exemplified in the works of Henri Matisse, widely regarded as the leader of the movement. The Fauvist painters were among the first to break away from both Impressionism and traditional approaches to art. As one of the earliest avant-garde modernist movements of the 20th century, Fauvism served as a critical transitional phase toward abstraction. Its focus on emotional expression over realism paved the way for future styles like Expressionism and abstract art, demonstrating that art could prioritize creativity and personal vision over traditional representation. Fauvism's vibrant colors and emotional intensity paved the way for artists to delve deeper into personal and emotional expression. This progression naturally led to Expressionism, a movement focused on conveying subjective emotions, inner experiences, and spiritual themes, rather than providing realistic depictions of people or nature. Expressionism emerged in the early 20th century, during a time of great change and uncertainty. Rapid industrialization, urbanization, and rising tensions that eventually led to World War I created a sense of alienation. In response, Expressionist artists focused on raw emotions, capturing the unsettling mood of the era. Building on Fauvism's bold use of color, Expressionism pushed it further with distorted forms, exaggerated lines, and unconventional hues. These techniques were used to express the inner struggles, anxieties, and emotions of a world in crisis. Expressionist paintings often feature energetic brushwork and thick layers of paint, intensifying their emotional impact. Common subjects like landscapes and portraits are transformed into dramatic personal reflections of the artist's inner feelings, mirroring the chaos and uncertainty of the time. Following the emotional intensity of Expressionism, Cubism emerged as another revolutionary movement in the early 20th century. Developed by Pablo Picasso and Georges Braque around 1907, it pioneered a radical break from traditional European conventions of space and form. Unlike Expressionism, which focused on personal emotions and inner turmoil, Cubism took a completely different approach by emphasizing the flat, two-dimensional surface of the canvas. Cubist painters sought to capture the complexity of reality by presenting multiple perspectives simultaneously. Instead of creating realistic depictions, they used fragmented shapes and contrasting viewpoints to construct abstract compositions. This innovative approach was influenced by a growing interest in science, technology, and new ways of perceiving the world. Cubism's radical break from traditional perspective was more than an artistic experiment. It reflected a broader cultural shift toward questioning established norms and exploring new dimensions of reality. It marked one of the first major steps toward abstraction in modern art. While Cubism fragmented objects into multiple perspectives, Futurism took this concept further, focusing on capturing the speed and vitality of the modern world. Emerging in Italy around 1909, Futurism was inspired by the rapid technological advancements and industrial growth of the early 20th century. Founded by Italian poet Filippo Tommaso Marinetti, the movement rejected the past and looked toward a bold new future. Futurist artists aimed to convey the energy and dynamism of modern life through their work. To achieve this, they used dynamic compositions, vibrant colors, and repeating forms to evoke a sense of motion and excitement. Their art often depicted subjects like cars, trains, and bustling cityscapes, celebrating the fast-paced, chaotic nature of the modern world. While Futurism celebrated the energy and excitement of the modern world, a very different movement emerged around the same time, reacting to the chaos and destruction of World War I. This movement, called Dadaism, took a radically different approach to art. Dadaism was born during the First World War, emerging from a sense of disillusionment and absurdity. Artists rejected the logic, reason, and nationalism they believed had led to the war. Unlike the structured forms and techniques seen in movements like Cubism and Futurism, Dadaism embraced chaos, irrationality, and spontaneity. Dada artists often used collage, photomontage, and assemblage, combining unrelated elements in unexpected ways to create works that questioned every aspect of society and culture. Many of these artists held left-wing political views, and their work challenged traditional values and conventions, pushing the very boundaries of what art could be. Following the chaotic and anti-art spirit of Dadaism, Surrealism emerged in the 1920s, aiming to explore the depths of the human psyche. Surrealism strikes a delicate balance between conventional views of life and an exploration of dreams and the unconscious mind. It's renowned for depicting scenes and ideas that defy logical sense, creating an atmosphere that feels dreamlike and strange. While Dadaism embraced absurdity and rejected reason, Surrealism focused on unlocking the power of the unconscious through dreams and the irrational. Inspired by psychoanalysis and the writings of Sigmund Freud, Surrealist artists sought to bridge the gap between the conscious and unconscious mind. To do this, Surrealists used techniques like automatic drawing, dream imagery, and bizarre juxtapositions to challenge conventional perceptions of reality. Their works often depicted strange, dreamlike scenes that didn't follow logical explanation, creating powerful, unsettling visuals. Surrealism was not just a style, it was an exploration of human consciousness and the mysteries of the mind. What do you think about these art movements? Do you have a favorite? If you'd like to explore these or other art topics further, don't forget to check out the links in the description. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.